Hello, what it do, baby? Blood on the tracks. I heard it's a very, very disturbing thing, very scary thing. Maybe trigger warning. Will it make us cry? I don't know. Will it make me want to check out the manga? I don't know. But from Carl. Apparently, majority. Wait, should I get the spooky voice? 1, 2. Oh, that's not spooky. 1, 2. Nope. 1, 2. Nope. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Apparently, majority of the events that happen in this manga are based on true story. It all happened to the author. And he wrote this manga as a coping mechanism to finally be free from his trauma when he was a kid. Uh-oh. Is this gonna be extreme? Now he has a loving wife and a kid, and he's beyond happy in life. He wrote like 3 pages of writing about the whole thing throughout the manga. Reading them gave me straight chills. Oh. 40 minutes. Oh god. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Have you ever experienced something and just knew there's no way this is going to end well? Yet you keep reading, you keep turning those pages because, much like a crowd watching a 49 car pileup on the highway, you have to see what happens. You feed the heightened emotion.
Also, Red Panda Productions. Shout out to you, my guy. The saddest manga you ever read.
Emotions that come out in a disaster, when human nature is at its most raw and the flames of reality burn away at the fragile facade around you. Well, today we have one of those stories, and it's terrifying in a way which I can only describe as a kind of entrapped silent horror.
Okay.
Where characters open their
Trauma. We all have our own trauma. I have my trauma. People have their own trauma. My trauma is a little disturbing. So if it tips toes into that, I might get a little emotional. We'll see.
mouth to scream, but nothing comes out. And there's this
Psychological
sense of dread whenever you turn the page.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
It is as frightening as it is exhilarating. But most of all, it's tragic. So let's talk about that, in the form of Shuzo Oshimi's manga, Blood on the Tracks.
Shuzo Oshimi. So I'm assuming this is going to be the main character, Mama?
A story about a boy and his mom.
Okay. Chapter 1, Mother and Son.
Blood on the Tracks opens with Seiichi Osabe, a 13-year-old who has a very close relationship with his mother, Seiko.
Oh.
Now, Seiichi lives a pretty normal life. He's got buddies, likes a girl who likes him back, and things seem to be going pretty well.
The pretty normal raising of mother and son relationship.
Mom still coddles him like a small child and seems overly attached even for a mother.
Was that the dad?
Of course, Seiichi's
Overly attached.
aunt and his cousin Shigeru make this the subject of their gossip, as well as some of his classmates making fun of him at school for it, but this does little to deter their close bond. You get the sense that she really cares for him. After all, Seiichi is Seiko's only child, and with her husband Ichiro gone most of the time, it's just the two of them in that house all day. But still, some of their interactions, well, they are a bit much.
We're doing that.
In that way, Shigeru's got a point. Maybe not about Seiichi, but about his mom, Seiko. One day, they decide to go on a trip. Shigeru and his family join Seiichi's for a mountain hike. And as the day goes on, things are fine. As usual, Seiichi is the butt of every joke made by his cousin, but he doesn't seem to mind. They're pretty close after all. At one point, Shigeru, being the weird kid he is, startles Seiichi on the edge of a cliff and throws him off balance. Seiko grabs him, terrified. And strangely, everyone's reaction to this is to laugh, his aunt pointing out once again what an overprotective mother Seiko is. Now I have to admit, Shigeru's always been a little bit of a bully to Seiichi. He pushes him around, always pranks on him,
Also,
and
like,
behind his enthusiastic
no
demeanor,
other
he's got a
brother
dauntless side which he uses to make Seiichi do things
type of
he
energy.
doesn't want to do. On this particular day, they return to the cliffside and he messes around at the ledge. And out of nowhere, Seiko appears beside her son, rushing to catch Shigeru as he loses balance. She grabs him and hugs him tightly. But then, when she pulls him away, she gives him this look.
Auntie. What the? Okay. Oh! Girl? Girl? Oh, what? Oh my god. What are you, jealous of the mom showing him affection? What the fuck? Oh, let me turn this on. Why not? Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. There we go. Girl?
And when she looks back at Seiichi, she just smiles.
Oh, hell no.
Seiichi feels himself slipping. He's not sure what to do. Like reality hitting him, Seiko suddenly screams, telling Seiichi to run and tell the others that Shigeru has fallen off the cliff. But he didn't fall. Seiko pushed him.
Oh, fuck.
And she enjoyed it.
Crazy ass auntie. Wonder if she has schizophrenia or something.
There aren't a lot of authors that can express an uncanniness the way that Oshimi does through his drawings. He's an
I'm not making fun of that.
Expert at crafting a person's facial architecture in such a way that it transcends realism just enough to be frightening, yet not enough to suspend the idea that this is real, this is happening. At this point, Seiko has attempted to murder her nephew. She pleads with Shigeru's mother as the reality of her actions begin to blur with the narrative she weaves in front of everyone, that he lost his balance and fell off the cliff. Seiichi stays with her while everyone else leaves to rescue his cousin, and in the moments between with his mother alone, Seiko begins to mumble to herself. In these moments, for the first time, we see a new emotion flicker in Seiichi towards his mother, and that feeling is fear. As Seiichi and his family learn of his cousin having succumbed to a coma after his fall, stranger things begin to happen with his mother.
Wait. Wait. Oh, the mom pushed the cousin over because he was mistreating her son. Girl? Oh, no, you didn't.
Stranger things begin to happen with his mother.
Oh, that's crazy.
Seiko seems more distant now, and what was once a warm smile towards Seiichi now begins to feel like a watchful eye, making sure he doesn't say a thing and goes along with his mother's story. When Fukishi, the girl he likes, gives him a love letter, Seiko becomes desperate, manipulating her son into getting rid of the letter as a sign of devotion to her and her alone. And no, stop. Now, if you've seen Oshimi's most famous work, Aku no Hana, or The Flowers of Evil, then you know how much vagrancy and disillusionment he can bring with every turn of the page. And here, his skill shows through as well. See, not everything in this house goes unnoticed. Ichiro begins to get a whiff of Seiko's strange behavior. First through outbursts, then withdrawal, and eventually complete detachment from reality. For Ichiro, it's a scary thing to see a person you love slowly turn insane. But he, always the voice of reason, always a decent man, well, he tries to cope. Ichiro tries to take Seiichi out, keep him in reality, but for Seiichi, things begin to shift. He sees what his mother has become. Kneeling down and pleading with an invisible child in an empty house. Seiko is acting crazy, and worse, she's got Seiichi wrapped around her little finger. Seiichi develops a speech impediment during this time, often unable to say simple phrases and stuttering, especially in front of others. One day, he finally gets the courage to confront his mother, asking her why she pushed Shigeru.
Oh.
And in retaliation, she
Oh.
does something completely insane.
What?
In a state of vulnerability, she plays with Seiichi, stomping on his emotions. She reaches around his neck and starts to strangle him. But then, as if nothing happened, she gives up, turns away, and leaves, simply remarking, "Don't get smart with me. Who do you think you are? You're just a kid."
Okay. That's kind of spooky. Oh my god. Jesus. So yeah, I kind of feel like there's some form of schizophrenia there, or some form of mental illness. Is that for sure is not normal?
A month has passed since that.
Speech impediment, yeah. And dude, in the little boy's perspective, that will mentally fuck him up so severe.
Night, and Seiko acts like nothing ever happened, her normal cheery self greeting Seiichi every morning. But his world is slowly coming apart.
Oh yeah, I feel like she will eventually will lead up to trying to kill him for sure.
Mother's love is,
or maybe like the most darkest thing I could imagine. Maybe she might. Never mind.
Is no longer unconditional. It now depends on his devotion to her. His
You know,
impediment
in
has
front of him?
gotten worse. Now he can't even utter a single word to his classmates. In his frustration, he lashes out. He gets in trouble at school, and Fukishi takes notice, following him. With the others, it was impossible, but with her, the girl he likes, Seiichi is able to find his words. He's able to talk just fine, and so he does.
His comfort.
He confesses
area.
to her, asks her to be his girlfriend. She
Aw.
accepts, and for a moment, you feel like you've forgotten all of the horrible things that have happened to Seiichi. Because in this one singular, beautifully tender moment, none of that matters.
Oh.
Oshimi is great at creating these lingering emotions in his work that capture a feeling perfectly. But just as the sun felt warm and her cheeks blushed the color of rose petals,
Oh my
as
god.
night falls and Seiichi walks home,
Oh my
the
god.
moment fades into a
Oh my
new
god.
color,
Oh my god.
a
Oh my
void
god.
of blackness.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. You know what would have been scary? If if there's like whatever the frame is called, whatever the scene is called, a little picture of her just stalking him, and as soon as he walks away, as soon as he walks away, the mom goes after the little girl or whatever. Oh
And
my
with
goodness.
that, the imminent return
That would have been
of Seiko.
spooky.
But Fukishi is determined to keep pursuing the boy she likes, walking Seiichi home every day, giving him the most affectionate stares, and for a while things do get better. Seiichi can talk in public again, he smiles, and most of all, he feels like a normal kid. But of course, every time he comes home, he re-enters the world of Seiko, and she scares him. He never knows what she'll do, what she'll take away from him, if she'll give him the same look that turns his heart to ice. But Seiko seems unsure of herself as well, a terror bubbling just below the surface. She apologizes to Seiichi in his sleep and more or less holds back from lashing out at him again. But she does stipulate one thing: a curfew. Don't stay out late. And it's this curfew that keeps her hold over Seiichi, testing his bonds with Fukishi as they grow closer. And they do grow closer. Much closer.
Aww.
And then,
No. God, I had a feeling. Oh my god, oh my god, look at his eyes. Fuck. Yo, the crazy chick. Holy shit.
and then,
Wait, is that their first smooch?
and they do grow closer. Much closer.
I'm assuming that's their first ever smooch. She couldn't contain her anger.
And then,
Girl? Uh-oh. Is she gonna do it?
they
Yeah,
run.
I kind of feel weird commentating on this. Because if this is based on true stories, you know what, let's be serious. This be
as
serious.
fast as they can, hiding in the fields as
Oh,
Seiko hunts
hell
them down,
no.
slandering Seiichi, insulting him, berating him, and once she finds them, tears in her eyes, she tries to play nice and plead with her son. But Fukishi pushes back, and I love this scene because it's genuinely the first time anyone has ever defended him. And with her help, Seiichi is finally
Oh,
plead with her son. But Fukishi pushes back, and I love this scene because it's genuinely the first time anyone has ever defended him. And with her help, Seiichi is finally able to stand up to Seiko for the first time. And you know what? It's beautiful.
it's not gonna. Please, mom.
And unfortunately,
Please, mom, learn your ways. As your son.
it's beautiful. And unfortunately, this is the last time that will happen for the rest of his childhood. Seiko's reaction to being rejected doesn't look like this.
Uh-oh.
It looks more like this.
Girl! Yo, what the? You don't need.
It looks more like this.
How would we describe this facial expression, the emotion there? Is that anger, sadness, seductiveness? Because she's obviously crying, so that's sadness. Anger, right, with this right here. And seductive with this. Nothing? I could see that too. Like this, the tears are just the before the emotion before this.
A cold, dead stare revealing
Oh.
how empty and nihilistic she's become.
Oh,
But Seiichi,
oh, she bit.
he does care. And despite Fukishi's efforts to grow closer
Oh my
and
God.
pull him out of this hell his mother makes him experience every single day, the fear of losing her love is still more powerful than the love that Fukishi can provide. But it's not just that. See, to Seiichi, he also feels responsible for his mother. And he's afraid that if he doesn't stay with her, that she might try to take her own life.
Bro, I feel like the mom was ready to kill them both then and there.
At best, it's looking out for another, but in reality, it's all a source of manipulation his mother uses to keep him in her stead. And so Seiichi falls, hook, line, and sinker back into Seiko's arms, rejecting Fukishi, ending his one chance at happiness and embracing the oblivion that is his mother's twisted world. And you know that really broke my heart, because from here things get even worse.
So I'm assuming that's where they part ways. Cause dude, you know, especially being a child and being in her perspective, that is intense. That is a lot to deal with. Or a lot to handle.
Seiko begins by robbing him of everything, brainwashing his memories of Shigeru, and once she sees the substance on his shorts from kissing Fukishi, she absolutely loses it. She calls him filthy, throws him out of the house, and most importantly, gives him this expression, which has been burned into the cortex of my brain.
This is a good author.
It was at this point I realized that even as a reader, Seiko was
style.
manipulating me as well. She made it look like she cared about Seiichi, but in reality, it was all a show. And that is just so fucking evil.
This is what was this shit called? This shit called a red box. Blood on the tracks. Close enough. Close enough. Chapter 4.
Remember Shigeru? Well, he's finally woken up.
Uh-oh.
His doctors see a recovery in sight, but upon remembering Seiko, the boy becomes terrified, bringing back the secret of the Mountain Day into the forefront of Seiichi and Seiko's paranoia. And from here, things really go off the rails. Seiichi's aunt learns how Shigeru was pushed by Seiko, and violence ensues for the Oshimis. But something else has been brewing too. You see, Seiko's been coming to terms with her imminent confessions to the police, and she seems relieved. Relieved to leave the house, get a divorce, and never come back.
Girl,
So
what?
when everything finally settles and she's taken to the police after her confession, She hugs Seiichi one last time in a seemingly genuine goodbye. Seiichi doesn't realize it, but this will be the last time Seiko will acknowledge him with love. The next time they meet, things won't be the same.
Brother, why spoil? Come on, what if she comes and changes?
But still, Seiko lurks inside Seiichi's mind.
I wonder why she was content with getting arrested. Yeah, low-key, I was kind of hoping like she was gonna get arrested and then she'll never come back to his life.
Poisoning his sense of self and making him see things out of whack with reality.
I feel like that's what a lot of readers felt like, that she was gonna be in prison for a long time, but no.
Shimi tells this narrative through cuts, showing us Seiichi at an early age. It's
Bro, spill the tea then. What happened? I mean, I'm assuming, you know, he can't really include everything because then there'll be like the whole copyright shit, the whole striking and all that type of stuff. I'm assuming it's like more, it showed more manipulation type of stuff, but for time-wise, it was cut out. Hey, I mean, maybe this shit would be so good that I want to check out the manga myself. Oh!
revealed that back then, in order to be
something the guy didn't say, that she completely manipulated her son into believing in this false reality to where she didn't push his cousin off the mount. Oh, because he did say that she was making up stories for him to believe, and it was working.
free, Seiko threw him off a hill as a child, intending to kill him. But even as a
Wait, what?
It's revealed that back then, in order to be free, Seiko threw him off a hill as a child, intending to kill him. But even as a young Seiichi, covered in blood and bruises, looks up at his mother, having survived.
It's never implicated, but it's clear that she has bipolar personality disorder.
The fall, Seiko
I could see bipolar disorder, very severe bipolar disorder.
just waves it off with apathy, and they continue as if nothing ever happened. In another reality, that would have made Seiichi realize how deplorable he was as his mother's child.
Yeah, because it seems like her mood switched very, very quickly and very extreme. If it was schizophrenia, I feel like it would have been like something completely different. Something completely different. The reason why I say it might have been schizophrenia was because she was talking to an imaginary kid. So, because I don't, I'm not fully educated in mental disorders and all that, but from what I'm aware, bipolar, I've never seen any case where they start to imagine people. This personal, whatever.
Instead, he begins to act like her, think like her, and echo the same sentiment of already being dead. And from here, bad things continue to happen.
Oh my god. Is he going to continue the cycle? Damn. Dude. That would be extreme therapy. Extreme therapy to get out of that mindset.
See, when Seiko pushed Shigeru off the cliff, for a second, she thought she was pushing Seiichi.
Oh.
What this reveals is likely the fact that in order for Seiko to be free to live her life and pursue her dreams in her eyes, she would have to get rid of the one thing that she was attached to that she wouldn't let anyone else have. Seiichi. Killing him would allow her to escape her life of being an unhappy housewife and mother, and since it hadn't worked on him as a child, then instead maybe it could work here. And because she was so miserable, Seiichi had to be miserable as well, because they shared a bond, and that bond meant they needed to suffer. And upon hearing this, a new emotion enters Seiichi.
What if this is postpartum? I know this is a thing. I'm not fully educated on that type of stuff as well, but I know postpartum is very extreme. Postpartum depression. The postpartum period is the time after childbirth, typically lasting 6 to 8 weeks, where the mother body returns to its pre-pregnancy state. Very significantly physical and emotional changes and adjustments to parenthood. Physical including many women experience baby blues, characterized by mood swings, crying spells. Postpartum, a more serious condition involving persistent sadness, hopelessness, or anxiety that can affect the mother's ability to care for herself and the baby. Recognizing and addressing postpartum depression is vital. for the well-being of both the mother and the baby. Interesting. He wasn't a baby though, but still.
Anger. A burning hatred for his mother, one which
Yeah?
warps him even further still. He's able to patch things up with Fukishi for a
Did you say brief? Shut up. Shut up. That's beautiful.
one which warps him even further still. He's able to patch things up with Fukishi for a brief time. But early one morning, Shigeru visits him and insists they go up the hill. The same hill where Seiko threw Seiichi
Boy, you better not.
off years before. Slowly, Seiichi's grip on reality loosens as Shigeru becomes a manifestation of Seiko.
Bro, you better not.
He yells and screams at her, expressing every modicum of anger he can muster. But strangely, Seiko's voice here begins to provide an alternate explanation for the way she saw the world, full of ugly people who berated her, Seiichi at the center of it all. However, I'm convinced this was simply Seiichi's mind playing tricks on him. But here's the thing. This manipulation works. Seiichi believes in the manifestation. He believes her words. And he turns on himself, believing that he was actually the cause for his mother pushing Shigeru off the cliff. And so, in a sort of repentance, he reaches out and tries to push himself off the mountain, to kill the manifestation.
Uh-oh.
But it's not himself whom he's pushed off the ledge.
Oh my god.
To kill the man.
Did I push myself off? Dude. This is a crazy panel. Oh my god, to be continued too?
Manifestation. But it's not himself whom he's pushed off the ledge.
Yeah.
It's Shigeru. Once again, Seiichi is in Seiko's grasp. And worse, Shigeru doesn't survive the fall.
Did he just confess to a murder? Whoa.
With Shigeru dead, Seiichi is detained by the police after a rather chilling confession to committing the crime. Once again, the mother figure he so wanted to please begins to create great anxiety for him. He scribbles incomprehensible notes about her, thinking about her, agonizing over her, and yet days pass and he never hears a word. Her silence is deafening. She denies pushing Shigeru off the cliff, and when Seiichi sees her after weeks in solitude, she barely regards his presence in the courtroom, treating him as if he was a chewed-up dog toy. And you can feel how this is the moment where all of the sadness that's built up over the course of the entire manga, well, that sadness begins to boil, turning to anger and eventually total hatred.
This is fucking sad.
Seiko sits down, declares she's finished being a mother, and as Shigeru chokes,
This gotta be the best manga I have ever seen. Especially when it has to do with mental illness and very extreme topics.
Seiko sits down, declares she's finished being a mother, and as Shigeru chokes his words out in front of her trying to answer his mother's testimony, she abandons him with a smile on her face, like a girl free of obligation. This, to me, is the most heartbreaking moment of the series, but also the point where we finally see Seiichi break, his anger exploding as he grabs his mother by the neck and reaches down to strangle her. All of his emotions gather, his mind in a fiery haze of ending the one person who has ruined his life.
Oh my god, dude. Jesus.
But as always, he can't do it. He's gripped by the reality that he is and always will be smaller than her, more powerless than her, and unable to do anything. His grip loosens and he is pulled away by those around him.
Oh my god, you know what that does to a boy? A little boy? That translates to adulthood, and it diminishes their overall feelings and all that.
In response, Seiko simply asks flatly with a dangerously platonic
And they'll always be small in their mind.
around him. In response, Seiko simply asks flatly with a dangerously platonic stare, "Can I go now?" And with
Damn.
that, she walks out of his life, him broken and terrified, and her with a content smile on her face.
Damn.
And this just killed me. All Seiichi ever wanted was his mother's love.
It's okay.
And Seiko, well, in many ways, the question
Oh my god.
kept coming up as I thought and rethought about this chapter. How can she be so goddamn evil? Oshimi's mastery shines here. Every line warps and every face twists and breaks, a perfect visual treatment to complement the sorrow and remorse this manga delivers to its reader base. At this point, Seiichi's world has ended. With his mother gone and his entire identity and self-worth stolen by her, he feels nothing.
Dude, I love the... I really hope either the artist is the author or the author instructed the artist on how to create the imagery, because the way this art is done, it's like a form of expression to what was in his mental in that state of his life. Excuse me. The author is the artist as well. That's beautiful.
Nothing matters. The world becomes a figureless, massless, colorless field of gray. And with that, well, the story doesn't end.
What? No, he goes to therapy. And everything gets...
Instead, it keeps going.
Oh!
After all, this is a story about Seiichi.
Yeah, what the fuck happened to the dad?
Not his mother. He just somehow keeps
work.
living. And he grows much older, revealing a disheveled man in his mid-30s, working a mundane job in the city with only an empty apartment to go home to at night.
Oh, so he didn't get locked up for a long time then. That's good.
It's hard not to see myself.
Ronnie 2K. Black Boy Max was... who? Wait, Ronnie 2K? That's not Ronnie, right? Oh, I don't...
in him, to be honest. I'm in college, but as I walk down the street alone at night,
Twitter
I can
naughty.
always hear the faint echoes and laughter of friends, couples, and families around me. Their presence like a cold wind
95.
that cuts right through me and mocks my lonesome presence. Grabbing groceries on
I was 19 at this age. I mean...
your way home from class or work can sometimes feel like a tribunal on your efforts to find happiness. Even if you...
Side note, this narrator... brother... You're fucking cooking. I like you, Red Panda Productions. 10 out of 10.
do find people who care about you, there's often this irrational fear that lurks inside of you, that one day you won't matter anymore and everyone else will move on to better things. It's not a good state of mind, and admittedly, I am pretty decent at distracting myself from loneliness, and I'm lucky to have others who do care about me. But for Seiichi, this darkness, this emptiness, is something that has consumed his entire existence. He doesn't think he deserves people, and so he walks alone, leaving no shadow, no trace that others could recognize. There is one light in his life, though. The one person he could always rely on,
not his
love
mom.
him no matter what.
Papa?
His father, Ichiro.
Where the fuck? Why is the... Did you hear that? Papa, where the fuck were you?
The person he could always rely on, who would love him no matter what. His
Is
father,
this a trigger?
Ichiro. Throughout the story, Ichiro shows up here and there, but he's never much of a big deal until later on. And I think that echoes directly the way that Seiichi views him as well. I had always thought that his father...
It's Redbox, a very, very disturbing manga. I thought it was, I thought a manga would never be this disturbing, but this is disturbing. It's like a comic book.
Father would somehow disappear
Blood on the tracks.
or leave the picture, but Oshimi had other plans. Ichiro does...
This one has to do with very severe mental illness, manipulation, very severe.
Stay close. He tries to keep Seiichi
based on a true story, by the way.
Touch and down to earth, and most importantly, he tries to reassure him that no matter what.
And the author wrote this manga, so this is the author telling his story. I don't know if everything's by the book of what happened, but
he'll always be there for him.
That's how I'm gonna say it.
At this point, Seiichi has been broken for years. His sense of self is near non-existent. He has no ambition, and just getting day by day proves difficult. He's made no friends, met no lovers, or had any normal semblance of a life.
A loner
But
life.
really, he never had a normal life. Seiko took that chance from him. Like a ghost, she haunts him. He is unable to move on, her shadow hanging over him like a rain cloud. Ichiro visits him and tries to help, but Seiichi is lost. And it breaks his father's heart to see him suffering like this.
Oh.
But what I love is that in the end, Ichiro is just a kind man that wants his son to be happy. The story shows these through thoughtful interactions. Stopping by his house, buying him food, the consistent call history, even if it sometimes borders on obsessive.
Stop.
His house, buying him food, the consistent call history, even if it sometimes borders on obsessive.
That's okay.
When his father eventually passes away, Seiichi's if it's sometimes borders on obsessive. When his father eventually passes away, Seiichi is overcome with grief. He never realized how much his dad meant to him. And now the words are too late, but deep down he hopes his dad knew how much he cared. And I think he did. Ichiro leaves some money to Seiichi. And in addition, one final note. Seiko's contact details.
Why? Why? She's gonna come back. Oh, fuck.
Which Seiichi burns in a candle.
Oh, thank you.
With this, he plans to end his own life. But he can't. Despite everything, there's still one thing that is keeping him alive. Seiko. She keeps reappearing in his head. He can't shake her off. And this is where things really take a turn.
Dude, that is like severe fucking trauma right there.
One day, he gets a call from the police. Seiko's been picked
Mama.
up by the police wandering aimlessly in the streets.
With your
Seiichi
mother and lost, huh?
Seiko's been picked up by the police wandering aimlessly in the streets. Seiichi tries to jump in front of a train, but something throws him back. He's terrified of facing his mother again after all of these years, but he can't just end his life here. He goes to the station, and as he enters,
We literally watch him try to hang himself. All his traumas keep it. Really? Whoa.
the room where she's being kept, he becomes a child approaching his mother once again. Seiko looks the same to him here. Her hair is dark, her face still bright and
That fucking shit.
young. At first she claims she doesn't have a son, as if she denies it.
Damn.
But as she remembers Seiichi, she begins to panic about needing to pick him up from daycare.
Oh,
Seiichi
wow.
is now 36 years old. That fateful day in the courtroom was over 20 years ago, meaning his mother is now reaching her elderly years, and in the way she acts, it's clear time has taken a deep toll on her mental faculties. But for Seiichi, the thought of bringing Seiko back into his life leaves him in a state of panic. Despite this, though, he decides to become her guarantor and pay her rent. In the end, the thought of her not acknowledging him as her son is still worse to Seiichi than the misery that came with being involved with her at all. And also, something's different. This isn't the same Seiko, the evil manipulator, the woman suffering from psychosis.
Yeah, she seemed. Oh, she kind of seems like lost in the sauce.
The frightening mother who had control over every aspect of Seiichi's life as a boy and made him feel small and powerless. This Seiko is older, forgetful, but somehow calm, kind, and vulnerable.
Kinda seems
Seiichi
like
comes to the realization
Amnesia?
that while his mother has re-entered his life, she is not the same person she used to be and no longer has the power over him she once had. She offers him tea, she welcomes him home. She finally acknowledges him again as if there was never a problem.
I think I know what this might lead to.
And he becomes furious.
Oh! Never mind.
Like a boy lashing out, his anger mounts from the way she treated him. All those memories of her wicked actions and manipulation, and the years of mental torture, rejection, and anguish all pour out at once.
Is it his
He
turn?
throws the tea in her face and berates her, screaming at her. And for a moment, it feels justified. But in response, she simply folds over and apologizes, sad and broken down on
The art style too.
her knees begging. And as Seiichi leaves, he finally sees Seiko for what she really has become. First, a small child clinging to him, and finally, the reality of a tired old woman with gray hair and tears streaming down her wrinkled, ancient face. What's interesting is, with time, Seiko is no longer the threat. It's the piece of her that she implanted into Seiichi's mind as a child that has grown and continued to torture him into adulthood. Seiko at this point is harmless, but she represents a monster that Seiichi has been unable to overcome. After he grapples with this, he tries to run away but is gradually persuaded by a manifestation of the late Shigeru into letting his mother back into his life, but this time on his terms. Part of him doesn't know if he'll kill her, hurt her, or end up taking his own life. But he continues anyway, and what follows, in my opinion, is one of the aspects that makes this manga so devastating and so effective. See, this is because Blood on the Tracks isn't a simple revenge story. Seiichi doesn't just let his mother rot. Though the years have been tough on him, the kind heart still exists within him. And so, putting aside his aggression, Seiichi stays with Seiko for a night during the storm, and at this point she seems to remember him, although it's never clear if she completely remembers who he is deep down. She talks about the various things she did with him, the time after his abandonment, the various mundane jobs she worked, and then she reveals the photo album, her only keepsake from her old life, one that she's carried with her all this way. And this is confusing, but in some ways it makes perfect sense. Seiko still views herself as a mother, and this little photo album is her way of keeping connected to this reality, even if it no longer exists the way the photos make it
I feel like she's gonna snap at any second.
seem.
Go back
And
to
this
that.
is where we begin learning about Seiko's past with abusive parents. And I think what's interesting about this part is that Oshimi doesn't try to draw a sympathy card. In other words, you don't come out of this section thinking you feel bad for Seiko, and neither does she. It's simply putting a magnifying glass on her life and understanding why she did what she did.
Repeating
Why
the
she was
cycle.
so distant. Why she might have shown so much love to Seiichi before throwing him down a hill and trying to murder him. Later doing the same with Shigeru. This woman needed help, and because she never got it, she was allowed to permanently succumb to insanity, and so it gradually took over until she became the monster that we see in this story. But it also reveals something else. Something darker and more insidious. See, Seiko as a child was pretty normal. Yet she had an abusive background with parents who hated her, which definitely affected her mentality. But she was also ambitious. She moved to Tokyo to act, held various jobs, and in the midst of it all, started living with Ichiro, who honestly just looks like John Lennon in this picture. He even wrote poetry. What a guy. But here's the thing. There's this point where, after years of living in Tokyo together, Ichiro finally proposes to Seiko. He asks for her hand in marriage, and for her to move back with him to his hometown. The same place she had said she'd never return to. But she accepts, and she gives up, and she goes insane. She gives up on her dreams, she gives up on ambition, and gives up on everything to be a wife and a mother. And for some that's fine, but not Seiko. Now at first this doesn't have much of an effect. She gets married, gives birth to Seiichi, and lives in a world of day-to-day serenity. But it doesn't last. Seiko's sister, always susceptible to illness, passes away from a brain tumor, and Seiko's parents blame the family death on her. But Seiko doesn't cry, she doesn't shout or scream. Instead she sits and just smiles, always apologizing but never meaning what she says. She realizes soon that this lack of empathy, this distance, is something she's always felt towards everyone. And so when she takes Seiichi up the hill one day and pushes him off, as she did with Shigeru, she comes to the realization that the only time she really felt something was in those moments, the moments where she killed others. She defines those moments where she feels something as sad but beautiful. And as she lies on her futon explaining this to Seiichi, he begins to come to terms with his own inner turmoil. The idea that Seiko felt dead inside, and to her, that release was the ultimate freedom, the release of death. Where others saw murder, she saw fulfillment. Does it make complete sense to me as the reader? As a fully grown man who gets too overly emotional about literally watching cartoons, not really. I will never understand Seiko. I don't necessarily even want to understand Seiko. But then again, those feelings of distance and that desperation that comes with wanting to pursue your dreams as she did with acting, well, that can be relatable for sure. And there's one thing that she did feel affection for in this world, and that was Seiichi, for a while anyway. And from here, we see a real change in adult Seiichi. He shaves, stops drinking, and
I
begins.
mean, you know, it's a good way to heal and all that. But a brother like me, I could never. I can never go this direction. Hell no. I don't know. I feel like the whole repeating the cycle thing. I feel like, and I mean, I don't want to be insensitive or anything, but I feel like she could have broken the cycle. But it's her fault that she repeated it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And people that deal with crazy shit, they have the power to change it. And there's no sympathy with her at all.
To read books.
At all.
In general, he abandons his gloominess. He's still alone, but it becomes more by choice later on rather than through a feeling that he deserves to die alone.
But the reason she has tension is because her sister told her that to make you love something. Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, I feel like if that's what I mean, I get people, you know. People might think one thing will bring them happiness, but if a person doesn't really want to do something, why fucking do it? Why choose that path? But I get it. Everyone's human, everyone makes their choices, but I don't know. I just think a person that has dealt with crazy shit, they should decide what they want. Even though I know, especially with the main character in this story, all that trauma really fucked up his head that made him do wrong choices and all that. But still,
he's just comfortable with it, and slowly his self-worth begins to trickle back in. And as for Seiko, well, her end is near. Months pass. Winter comes, and one day, Seiichi is called to the hospital only to find his mother in a bad state, brought on by supposedly tripping down the stairs of an elevated pedestrian bridge. And oh man, the look on my face when Oshimi reveals that it was actually Shigeru's mother who pushed Seiko down the stairs nearly 25 years after the death of her son was something I will never forget.
Wait, what?
Oshimi reveals of an elevated pedestrian bridge. And oh man, the look on my face when Oshimi reveals that it was actually Shigeru's mother who pushed Seiko down the stairs nearly 25 years after the death of her son was something.
So who pushed the cousin's mom? So the main character's mom pushed the his auntie down the stairs? Oh, the cousin's mom pushed the mom? Okay. Let's not do that. Actually, I don't give a fuck. Okay, my fault. My fault.
Brought on by supposedly tripping down the stairs of an elevated pedestrian bridge. And oh man, the look on my face when Oshimi reveals that it was actually Shigeru's mother who pushed Seiko down the stairs nearly 25 years after the death of her son.
Oh, so he died? He didn't mention that, right? He said that he would the little boy was in a coma and then he woke up and then that's how she got arrested. Maybe it was something that wasn't told. Yeah, he went in a coma. One more time. Oh, he went autistic. Wait, wait. Wait, I thought he pushed the girl, his love interest. Wait. Oh. Oh. I was wondering, like, why was the mom? Why was he saying like, the, all that about the mom when it was her? Wait, because prior to that, he was talking about the love interest, and then he said something along the lines where it was briefly lived, and then that I assume that's where he was talking about her that he brought. Oh, so was that why the little boy was like walking all weird because he was like autistic? Mm-hmm. So that's after, right? Yeah, that's after. Wait, wait. Ah! Is there a specific scene? Dude, I really want to see that. I really want to see that part. Red box.
Yo. Okay.
Hold on,
Um,
I'm
shut
fucking
up.
dead.
Okay. I don't remember what chapter it was.
Oh, hide the link. Oh, fuck. I just kidding. Do your thing.
Okay, yeah, this is where he dies, and then yep.
Damn, that's sad.
Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, I know.
All
So he runs into this little girl that looks awfully like
right.
his love interest, and another girl who looks like his love interest, and then there she is. Uh,
Oh.
she ended up getting married to a guy, and she had two kids. And they don't. He recognizes her, but she doesn't recognize him
Damn.
until the very end. Whenever actually, hang on, where is it? Um, yeah, she looks. Okay, I think it's the next chapter. Yeah. Yeah. Have we met somewhere? I'm sorry, I can't quite remember. And then he denies it, clearly knowing her. And then
Hmm.
as he's walking away, uh, she says his name, realizing last second.
Oh. Oh my god. Damn.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Okay.
And then yeah, that's it.
Right. Appreciate ya. Appreciate ya.
Got you.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, shout out to Carl. Okay. Damn, dude. Holy fuck. Okay, alright. Okay. Let's go.
Mother who pushed Seiko
All right.
down the stairs nearly 25 years after the death of her son was something I will never forget. If there was a revenge story to be told, this was it. But there's no doubt in my mind that Seiko does harbor love for Seiichi despite her feelings of emotional isolation from the world and her sociopathic complexities. I mean, when all is said and done, she ends up by his side once again anyway, and because of his generosity, she's able to properly begin to apologize for all the pain she caused him. But between Seiko and that love is a black hole of turmoil that even she's never able to fully explain, and there's no excuse for it.
Dude, I feel like that's like it's unfixable, man. Like, dude. For me, I could not forgive anyone that has done that to me. Cause dude, the fucking it sticking in your mental, you start to hallucinate about that type of shit. It becomes worse and worse and worse in your head. Dude, there's no way.
Sometimes
You kept on killing me every single second while not even allowing me to acknowledge the fact that I'm being hurt. You push me and you hurt me.
she loves sex
Oh my god.
to fully explain,
You killed me.
and there's no excuse for
You
it.
crushed me and you hurt me.
Sometimes
Dude, as a person that has mommy issues, huh? What? Dude, I feel like that. Dude, I really want to read this now.
she loved Seiichi, other times she hated him, casting him off as a pointless, nameless
But I don't know if I could read it. I don't know if I could record and upload that. If I could read every single word.
fixture that had no meaning in her life.
Because everyone else that I've seen summarize.
Seiko spends much of the manga in a lethargic or desperate state, mentally and emotionally unstable. However, even if she couldn't tell reality from fiction, one thing she did consistently keep a hold on was her son. As a child, Seiichi was constantly torn between a life free of his sadistic and manipulative mother and a side of him that wanted nothing more than her approval, her love. He saw it as a necessary element to live day by day, doing strange and outlandish things in order to gain this approval. But I can't blame him. Sometimes I wanted to grab him and tell him to wake up, but in the end he was still a child. His mother
It's just a little boy wanting his mom's love.
doing
An innocent little boy.
strange and outlandish things in order to gain this approval. But I can't blame him. Sometimes I wanted to grab him and tell him to wake up, but in the end he was still a child. His mother was his whole world, and for Seiko, despite everything, Seiichi is still her whole world as well. Without him, she crumbles into nothing. She spends
The part that hits the most is when he desperately wanted her to prove it, but she would just cut him off and tell him fuck off.
each day more or less existing without purpose, the lines of age pressing themselves into her beautiful complexion and her hair turning the color of ash. Remember earlier in the video when I said that she must have not cared at all about Seiichi when he stood up to her with Fukishi and screamed at her to leave?
Oh my god. Is she about to reveal what she was gonna do?
And that chilling expression she gave him? Well, in reality, she spent the entire night looking for him in the rain, and even goes to Fukishi's house to try and get answers. Now, I'm not sure if it was more out of love or control over him that led her to this behavior, probably control, but one thing is clear, she's nothing without Seiichi. When she abandoned him in the courtroom nearly 25 years before, she had a look on her face like she was a girl again, on the verge of adulthood. She left Seiichi to pursue those dreams she abandoned years before, but in the end, none of that mattered.
I love the fact that like the artist changes the ages of the character to show the emotion that he felt was coming out from those people. I think that's a very good choice in art style.
And she ended up by his side again anyway, despite everything. And I don't really know if there's a lesson in that. Because what's so tragic is, as the audience, we've seen what she's done. We've seen Seiko try to bully and ruin her son's life, only to abandon him in his most vulnerable. She is in all...
I wonder what happened there. What was the switch that made her do that? Or maybe it was like just like random.
Despite everything.
Because before then, I feel like it was like a little... It was weird, but then it like dramatically switched
And
up.
I don't really know if there's a lesson in that. Because what's so
But
tragic
at the same time, I mean, we haven't, or we're getting a summary of what happened. We didn't see everything. Yeah. Was it the anger of the cousin bullying the little son? Or was it something else than that? Because that's an extreme decision to make.
is, as the audience, we've seen what she's done. We've seen Seiko try to bully and ruin her son's life, only to abandon him in his most vulnerable. She is in all ways a reprehensible, awful person.
Maybe it's just that that the little cousin was bullying her. She imagined that it was her son and it's kind of similar. Oh, yeah, that part. I forgot about that one.
But as we look at how the years have left her and the pitiful state she's in, there isn't really anything that resembles anger in me as I turn the pages. Instead, it's just sadness, pity, a wasted life. Seiichi, having now come to terms with himself and doing better, takes his senile mother in, the once powerful Seiko who controlled his life now having been reduced to a groveling old woman who urinates on herself and can't keep a home or job. He sees parallels of himself as a child in her, as she used to feed him and now he feeds her, and despite any temptation to abandon her as she did him, Seiichi tries to keep her alive. Part of him might have done it in revenge to show her how he felt as a powerless child, but in reality, he only treats her with kindness. He just feels responsible for her just as he did as a child. And as one person says to him in the story,
he's breaking the cycle.
Just as he did as a child. And as one person says, he just feels responsible for her just...
See, this is what I'm saying. Fucking break the cycle. Don't be a pussy ass bitch.
As he did as a child. And as one person says to him in the story, you do only have one mother. Still, that doesn't bring much comfort here. There's this scene where he has to wash her down, and honestly, seeing him handle her shriveled up body and the way she just flops around, maybe it should have made me happy to see her suffer, but it just felt awful. I remember seeing my grandparents in their last days, and it's like nothing you've ever felt. They're in a hospital bed, and you just can't believe that this person that was such a figure in your life has been reduced to this. For as evil as she was, Seiko stumbling and murmuring as a dying woman just made me feel this sense of emptiness. And seeing her son washing her down in the bath...
Oh my god, this is like the most realist, truest emotions in a story I have ever seen.
Like that. Well, it's
especially in the manga.
Further push those feelings. The fact that everyone's parents will someday be returned to the earth is a thought that terrifies me to my core.
Yeah, everyone dies, dude.
But much like in this story, it's inevitable, and over time we just deal with things day by day. Until one day, it's just you left. And when it happens to you as well, heck, maybe there's some comfort in that, I don't know. One day Seiichi wakes up to find Seiko in the bed next to him. Her mouth is dry, her face is calm. He checks her breath. She's gone. Seiichi gives an empty expression. Then he cracks a smile and laughs. And I think I understand why now. For Seiko, death was a release for her. And for Seiichi, not only does it mean that his mother finally went to a place where she belonged, it also meant that everything he had endured...
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I mean, can you blame me? Very cruel person? Come on.
That his mother finally went to a place where she belonged. It also meant that everything he had endured, everything that had happened, well, that chapter of his life was finally over.
Let's go.
Part of him, of course, wanted to see her suffer, wanted to watch as she shriveled up forever.
To keep falling apart and become undone like this, if you're intending, then I'll be there to watch you. Oh.
Everything she did to him. And I can't blame him for that, considering everything that went on. Maybe Seiko did a few nice things for him, but she also did this, and this, and this. And so in the end, I guess I'd be laughing too. Seiichi grows old, and in the last panels of the story, he stands over a bridge. He hasn't thought about his mother in years. As the narrative comes to a close, one final thought remains as he looks out over a river stretching into the mountains. Seiichi can no longer recall his mother's face.
Oh.
I'd be laughing too. Seiichi grows old, and in the last panels of the story, he stands over a bridge. He hasn't thought about his mother in years. As the narrative comes to a close, one final thought remains as he looks out over a river stretching into the mountains. Seiichi can no longer recall his mother's face. Blood on the tracks made me feel something that no other...
Ah, fuck.
In the last panels of the story, he stands over a bridge. He hasn't thought about his mother in years. As the narrative comes to a close, one final thought remains as he looks out over a river stretching into the mountains. Seiichi can no longer recall.
That panel, that would be an awesome poster. That would be an awesome poster, dude. Have it in the background. Have it right there on my wall. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh my god. What the fucking hit? Oh. Fuck.
All his mother's face.
Fuck.
Blood on the Tracks made me feel something that no other story has. It's seemingly telling a story of heartbreak, tragedy, and a person's life destroyed by psychosis and manipulation, but it also tells a story of family turmoil, growing old, and the eventuality of life and the meaning of existence. It's a heavy read, but for those who can bear it, I think it's absolutely worth the journey. And it just in some ways might be the saddest manga you'll ever read.
Yep.
I know it was for me.
Dude, I feel like this part with a person, any person that has dealt with severe trauma in any form, they could find extreme comfort, extreme comfort. They could see like they could see that they could actually heal from their traumas.
Can no longer recall his mother's face.
Ah, fuck. Damn.
Blood on the Tracks made me feel something that no other story has. It's seemingly telling a story of heartbreak.
Is there 3 volumes of this anime? I'm assuming.
Tragedy and a person's life destroyed by psychosis.
Oh, I need this. 6 words that hold so much impact on the story. That's how you write. Yeah.
Manipulation. But it also tells a story of family turmoil, growing old, and the eventuality of life and the meaning of existence. It's a heavy read, but for those who can bear it, I think it's absolutely
17. Oh, girl, we missed out on so much details. I feel like there is so much more context if there's 17 volumes.
worth the journey. And it just in some ways might be the saddest manga you'll ever
7 or 8 chapters.
I know it was for me.
And he just covered 6. Oh, this dude, this. I feel like this would be such a fun read. I feel like we should give it a little time. A little time before we read this, because I kind of want to be surprised again. I kind of don't want to remember everything and then it being like, oh yeah, I definitely gotta read this.
Everyone, thanks so much for sticking around for this one.
W narrator. This is how I would describe your narrations. On God. The music direction, the pace, the of the frames at the scary moments. One more time. Fuck.
Please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. I really appreciate the support. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Damn. Fuck. 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 This was put after the final page of the manga. This is the part that made me break down in tears. Afterward, thank you so much for no, fuck. Let's be skinny legends and let's go down here. Thank you so much for staying with this to the end. When I started drawing this story, I decided I would only include what I truly needed to include, no filler. I would just keep going until I draw on it all. If I only made it part way, I feel like I would never be able to get back on my feet, so I absolutely had to stick with it to the end. Oh my god. Beautiful therapy. Beautiful therapy. Fortunately, I was blessed with a strong readership, so I managed to keep it running for 6 years and put down my pen at that point where I had nothing more to draw. This is a joyful thing to me. At the same time, it's cruel to the real people I've captured in this comic. I'm sorry for putting you in here. I had to make this to survive. Either way, the work will go on existing as such. As a story, it might still be read years in the future. In the future, or it might soon be forgotten. No one's gonna forget this. This is like a story that's gonna live on for so long. It's up to all of you. I leave it all in your hands. Were it not for my editor, I doubt I would have had the courage to draw this comic. I'm deeply grateful. Thanks also to Tanaka, who came on as an editor later and helped greatly with research, and to the folks at Hive Corporation who always grasped the intent of the work and provided fitting designs to everyone who aided in my research or was otherwise involved, to all the readers who sent their feedback, and to my wife and children who support who supported me throughout the run. Oh, fuck. Dude, I can't. I can't. To my mother and father, my little brother who passed away shortly after the first volume. Little brother? Did he not include him? Unless he's talking about the cousin. My little brother who passed away shortly after the first volume saw the light of day. My other relatives, Miss F, who liked me in junior high, and my hometown of Curia. I'm sorry, thank you. Oh, maybe he didn't include him. My god. That was good. Dude, the part that almost made me fucking bawl my eyes out. I'm sorry for putting you in here. I had to make this to survive. To survive. Fuck. Oh my god. Fucking shit, dude. No, don't finish. When Sachi's mother begins to go insane, his world falls apart, his own sanity as well. This is an in-depth review analysis of suspenseful Blood on the Tracks. A story of motherhood gone wrong and turmoil that comes from human beings' undoing. A brilliant psychological horror. Join me as we break down this masterwork and try to understand the reasons behind each character motivations as the plot thickens and understanding wanes under the preface of one evil act. Please read this story covers very
begin to blur with
very
the
nice.
narrative she weaves around everyone. That he lost his balance.
Very surprising. I did a fucking 37-minute video. I made that bitch into 1 hour and 60 minutes. God damn. Do I yap that much?
In these moments for the first
It was a happy ending, yeah. Dude. Like I was honestly I was expecting I was expecting the ending to be him killing his mom. I feel like if it went that way, it still would have been sad. But to end it for how he ended it, the author, I feel like it gives the readers inspiration, and I feel like that is the most impactful thing. The most impactful thing in this story, because
and here his skill shows through. See, not everything in this house goes unnoticed. Ichiro begins to get a whiff of Seiko's strange behavior.
let's check out these comments.
Through outbursts, then withdrawal, and eventually complete detachment from reality. For Ichiro, it's a scary thing to see a person you love slowly turn insane.
The fact this could actually happen, and probably did happen for the amount of sick people out there, terrifies me. We can read it for a horror story, but this might be just someone's everyday life. Yeah, I mean, just because a person doesn't really, go through stuff, doesn't mean that other people don't go through intense shit. There's very disgusting, horrible people in this world, and a lot of people have to deal with very severe shit. There's a Japanese movie called Mother based on a real-life murder case that is chilling, similar to the story. A 15-year-old boy charged with murder of his grandparents revealed that his abusive mother had been manipulating him his whole life into committing crimes to support her addiction. Wow. I mean, it is a very sad story, but unfortunately it isn't like the most uncommon thing. There's a lot of strange people out there, a lot of extremely manipulative parents out there, so but this one we just get the full story, the full context.
A month has passed since that night.
To me, this didn't feel like a horror story. It felt like a realistic depiction of generational trauma and untreated mental illness. Yeah, that is true. I mean, again, we didn't see the full manga, so there might be imagery in the manga where it seems more horror. I feel like the one scene that was more terrifying was when she jumped out of the hedges, bushes, grass, shit. And then these moments right there, that felt pretty uncomfortable.
I had always thought that his father would somehow
The fact that he couldn't remember his mother's face is wonderful ending. It is the best ending for someone with so much trauma. He breaks the cycle when he has someone vulnerable in his care. Despite being a victim himself, he is caring and tender and loving and a provider. He takes care of someone who needs him, that person being his abuser no less. He could have fallen into the line of generational trauma, but he broke free. He had his own resilience and a little support from his late father, but that was it. And really, that's the best ending here.
He is unable to move on, her shadow hanging over him like a rain cloud.
I love the moment where he heard his mother's story, how she gave up and he chose to just not be like her. He got his shit together, and then when she was dying, he chose to care for her instead of making her feel powerless like she made him feel. I think that's the part of what makes this a happy ending. He makes the decision to not be like the monster who broke him, and in the end, he can't even remember the fears that tormented him for so long. It's really lovely. I feel like if he went the murderer's path, he would still be tremendously haunted with her presence, her in his brain for 100%. Well, W fucking session. First ever time I watched a manga on a full manga was not disappointed. Definitely, as horrible as the story is, definitely was an intriguing story, and hopefully this guy covers more crazy stuff like this, because I definitely would love to watch more. There's another psychological horror manga I want to show you, but that one is a must read. I can't show you a video for that.